But we do have the former Minister of Petroleum, Professor Tam David West. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Well, we've been taking a look at this oil sector probes and this Petroleum Revenue Special Task Force, which was headed by Madam Nuhu Ribadu. They've come up with this report, and so that's everywhere now. But only this morning, we see that the federal government says they've set up committees on this same panel's report to consider what they've come up with. But before that, there was a lot of controversy about this. The spokesman of the president has said something where people quoted him to have said, no, there are problems with this, which they can't. But you've seen that report also. Yeah. What did you think about it?
I don't think I've seen the report. I've only seen excerpts of the report.
Okay.
Well, I'm not surprised with what's happening. I should have been most surprised if something happened better. So in this same studio, I said, what they are doing is a charade. A government that deceives its people consistently and persistently, deceives its people with lies, is not worth its salt. Everything I say on this television, anywhere in my writing, I stand by it and I can prove it. I should be challenged and I show them documents to prove what I've ever said. I'm surprised. In fact, today, as I was coming to the studio, I got a paper. And it's good and bad. Good in the sense that all what we're talking about is fuel subsidy. I still repeat, there is no fuel subsidy in Nigeria. I've challenged the government for a public debate. They never showed up. There is no fuel subsidy in Nigeria. It's fuel subsidy mega fraud. And it has been proved right by Farouk Lawan, by Ribadu. We are still waiting for Magnus Abbey's report. But it's curious. The Senate set up probe on this long before the others. Why is the Senate report so delayed? There is no fuel subsidy. It's fuel fraud and it has been vindicated. Before me, Buhari said so. Before Buhari even published a book on this. They are not challenging the book. They are not challenging the facts. They are only making propaganda noise. And today, how can my president say fuel subsidy must go? Do you remove what does not exist? And the two reasons he gave are even very illuminating. One, fuel subsidy must go because one, it will encourage private refineries. Two, which is a more logical thing to say, it will stop fuel importation. Fuel subsidy removal cannot encourage private refineries. It's illogical to say it. But if you remove fuel subsidy, how do you remove it? You must remove fuel subsidy, which doesn't exist. If you have more refineries, government refineries in the country, there will be no importation of fuel. There is no fuel fraud, fuel subsidy fraud. So in fact, on the contrary, what the president has said is contradictory because when you build more government refineries, it will compete with private refineries. So it doesn't encourage private refineries to be built.
Okay. Tell us about the management of petroleum revenue in the country between NNPC, DPR, and the front lines of this. And so even this Petroleum Revenue Special Task Force, which was set up, was also expected to look into that. Well, they did, and they see a lot of challenges. What was going on when you were there?
What is going on is organized fraud and deceit of the people. I stand by it. I will not remove one word of it. The fuel subsidy protest in January was very massive and very, very coordinated, well coordinated. Now the government was scared. Well, what we are seeing is panic measure. The government was scared. The second week of, if that protest had gone on for the second week, January government should have gone. Nigeria should not be different from Arab Spring. They got the trade union, blackmailed them, twisted their hands, and reneged. But a good thing happened. Soon after that, government set up 4 committees as a direct consequence of the fuel subsidy protest. First, good governance and control of NNPC. Refineries, National Refineries Committee, special committee to review the petroleum industry bill. Then, of course, the most important, Petroleum Revenue Special Task Force, headed by the great New Ribadu. Great because he is known to be a quintessential fighter against corruption. And what the government has done is they use big names to give credibility to their programs that are ab initio, bogus, initial, inherently not serious. They use the Ribadu because his name is great when it comes to fighting corruption. Ribadu has been fighting corruption since the time of Buhari. They use Kola.
You mean Christopher Kolade?
Kolade, yes. For a bogus program called SHOW, Subsidy, Reinvestment, and Empowerment Program. Yeah. Do you invest what doesn't exist? Where's the money? So now, what they've done now, they've used these big names to show, to pretend that they're serious. And after that, they now rubbish them. But unfortunately for them, neither Ribadu report nor Farouk's report, or yet to come Magnus Abbey's report, which I know will corroborate all of them, can be rubbish. Because Nigeria is not a nation of nitwits. The earlier government knows this, the better. You see, when you try to outsmart your fellow man, you are doing it on two selfish or self-centered premises. First, you think that the other man is stupid. You are wiser. And secondly, that even if you discover you cannot do anything about it, all these are not right and cannot happen. Even the total this thing is unserious. Look at the way the report was presented to the president. I've been in public service. I'm not an expert, but I've been in public service long enough, both state and federal, to know the procedure. You are going to present a paper to the president on something very important. You, Minister of Petroleum, you never saw the paper in your office before you go to Aso Rock. The one of good governance and control for NPC. The report was all there. And what did they do? The minister discovered in Aso Rock that the report was to present was not there. She should have been fired that moment. Now they now brought empty file to the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria and played to him as if it's the real. There's nothing in the file.
How sure are you?
It was in the paper. So reported right in the paper. They arrived there and the report was on there. So they now got empty file and presented to the there's no report there. Why didn't the minister say before they got there? Then it comes to that of report, just another very terrible. You see, God loves this country. If not, Nigeria has not done anything to succeed. We have no right to succeed. We have not done anything to make this country go forward. We say we are giant of Africa. Every time a giant was given to us by God. Big population, big size, natural wealth.
But in terms of this, the management of production revenues, which the Ribadu report did look at, they did say that production data for fiscal purposes should be obtained at the flow stations where crude oil is stabilized and not at the terminals as is currently the practice. Was this the practice long ago?
No, when what surprises me is that by the grace of God and goodwill of my God, I managed your oil for 2 years. What is happening? That's just strange to me. Turnaround maintenance. President Jonathan says turnaround maintenance for 3 refineries in 2013. It takes less than 1 year to build a new refinery. Why should it take longer time to service refinery? No, that's not what happens. They've broken every rule. Nigeria Petroleum is the worst managed in the whole country, in the whole world, not only OPEC.
That phrase, turnaround maintenance, how was it operational during your time?
Oh no, what is turnaround maintenance? Big name. Turnaround maintenance, if I have to be mundane, it's like servicing your car. You use your car, you have to go to a mechanic to service it. So turnaround is a service the refinery because I worked for some time, so service it. During my time, I don't have any headache. We have a schedule. All I see is schedule. The MD to me. Parago refinery, we turn around to Bori refinery, Kaduna. So, and we will follow the schedule. But now they make turnaround maintenance such a big issue. And what is even more fraudulent and more unacceptable. Sometimes all three refineries are doing turn around at the same time. I think it's as stupid as a man who has a family who has 3 cars, run them down and send 3 cars to mechanic and go by Okada. It's as stupid as that. In my time, we have schedule for all of them, dovetailed, no problem at all. But now turn around in time become a big mega contract.
But in your time,
Yes.
when you had a schedule,
Yes.
did you think about building new refineries then? Because
I
those
signed-
there now will
we
say...
did new refinery. We did. The 4th refinery's contract was signed by me. Capacity 150,000 barrels a day. So it was already 100,000 barrels a day. We increased it by fiat to 50. You see, except we know where we are coming from, we cannot appreciate the mess we are in. And there's no possibility of this mess going off. There are no, you see,
Isn't that why we're having all of these probes to see that we can actually get
the
ourselves
probes are
off the bench?
diversionary. They are not serious. All the probes are diversionary, and I proved it. And God so loved the country to expose them. Why are you talking about Ribadu's panel? He did a very good job. Ribadu did a very good job, and I'm not surprised because he's a quintessential corruption fighter.
But well, we understand the job is incomplete because there are some
The
other
job is
terms
incomplete
of-
because they are not
of
sincere.
reference.
They are not sincere. I've proved to you they are not sincere first. So President Jonathan Lasedo Ribadu, they took him, they praised him to high heavens.